Serafina and I were at a entrepreneurial book club where Stephanie never read the right book. And
Stephanie was terrible at this book club.
I really sucked at book club.
I did
Fabulous. What?
I just had a visual. I just had a visual.
Proud of it. What's up, Nate? How are you doing?
How you doing? It's a good morning out here. It's a little cold. I'm getting used to that, where it's chilly in the morning.
I said that as I was arriving to Mashpee TV this morning, and Chris Ball opens up the doors. I'm running late, and I'm in Cliff's car because he took mine, because he's actually taking it to be cleaned and serviced today.
At Cape and Islands Kia, gotta love it.
Hey, listen, I feel like I won the lottery. That's all I have to say about that. I'm like, you're doing what? Thank you, bye.
Hey, as long as he gets the chores done, you just keep doing your thing.
That is a gift. You know what I mean? When people are like, what do we get for this so-and-so? That right there, that's my birthday. That's Christmas. I don't need anything else. Thank you for dealing with that. I literally live out of that nasty car. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, you pack everything into that car.
100%. That's why I was so discombobulated this morning, because I'm like, where is my stuff? It's not like, oh.
It's like that moment, instead of where's my super suit, where's my gear?
Anything. Insert any item. It made me laugh today was because it is National Techie Day. Shout out to our technology friends. I'm getting there.
Yeah, I'm getting there too. I know how to work everything in this studio, but sometimes there are technology questions where I can't figure things out. Luckily, the one technology I'm starting to figure out is Adobe Premiere Pro.
Right.
Since I'm taking video production, I'm starting to figure out how to use that to my advantage. So
proud of you, buddy.
Only took one time showing you, and then months later taking a video production class.
Well, it broke your brain a little bit. You're like, this is a new lease on life, making your own things and being able to do that stuff for yourself. It's really empowering.
Yeah, I made my first video, and I put on Instagram. I edited it on Premiere Pro, and it took me a second to figure out, but it's all about making the cuts. People that can do that real quick, but know how to precisely do that. That is a skill right there.
Yeah, National Techie Day. So I did my own technology today, even though I've been doing technology my entire life. It's different. It grows, it changes. And just when you think you've got a handle on things, they change the game and the rules.
Who changed the rules? There's a flag on the play.
Changes the rules. Good morning, Dawn. Thanks for joining us. I got a chance to catch up with Dawn. They're over at the Valley Grill, her and Will, and I absolutely adore them. And they've got a shout out to an X-rated hypnotist. Frank Santos Jr. is coming over, and they've got a show happening on Wednesday. You can find it on Eventbrite if you're looking for it. And we've got a pair of tickets that we'll award later on in the show. If you're looking for something fun to do next Wednesday, definitely suggest you go check out Frank Santos. It's going to be a great show. Good morning, Danielle from Florida. Thank you for joining us. I'm in the studio over at Mashpee TV. You can get their HD channel at 1072. Nate is over at WKKL. Shout out to Four Cs and everything that's going on over there.
I believe you'll be here, I think next week or pretty soon, which should be fun. I like that you did that last semester. It's a chance for someone like me, but also other students who might be trying to pursue this or unsure about what the media field persists stuff. It's a good practice, gets the reps up. Any reps that you can get in the media field, I recognize, can improve your skills. It's funny. I'm sure you can go back and listen to the first time you were on the radio, because I've been saying this to a couple people. Like, they hear me now and they're like, you sound so great. It's funny. You say like, oh yeah, imagine you heard me the first time, because the first time you hop on a radio, you sound so different compared to once you get your reps up. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the only time I can laugh about my house actually being on fire, is because those tapes are now gone. I'm really thankful for it.
Hide the evidence.
It was so bad. It was terrible. And they just threw me on the air. I remember I was stationed at Fort Gordon in Georgia. And they're like, just get on there. Just read it. And I'm like, what do you mean? Just read it.
I need preparation.
Well, I mean, thank you very much. I have to commend you. You got thrown in a situation last weekend where I was like, Nate, can you call a high school football game? And you're like, yep, yep, I can do it. And you showed up and you did it. And I'm so thankful that you did. And it was tough, right? Were you prepared? It was like,
I wasn't as prepared as I like, but it was an opportunity I wanted to take because it's sometimes you have to take an opportunity where you're like, I'm not prepared, or I might throw myself in. My apologies to the parents if I messed up a last name. I'm just gonna say that right now. It was difficult.
well,
I
here
was
we
thrown
are.
into that. Yeah.
That's it.
But I had fun. It was a different experience. For me, being up in the booth, it's a little different because sometimes for me, I get sucked up into watching the game and a little bit, and I'm like, oh yeah, hold on, I'm actually calling this thing.
Right, like, you've gotta connect that to your mouth and be able to orate that at the same time, and it is something it's a skill, and it's something that you really wanna pursue, and it's something that you wanna do, so I was really glad that you said yes to that opportunity, regardless of where you were for readiness, and regardless of knowing the team or what was going on, like, you were just like, "Yep, I will do it," and thank you. From everyone here at Mashpee, we thank you for your ability to do that. But yeah, there's 100 kids on the team, and remembering everybody's name a little bit difficult, especially when you don't know.
Yeah, so for me, it was still fun. It was just difficult because you're trying to pronounce the name, but next time I definitely go, I'll probably look over the roster again if I get another chance and write down pronunciations just so I can be a little bit more flow and just pronounce names better.
Yeah.
But for
But you
me,
did it.
yeah, for me, I'm a high preparation person. Like whenever I put like content out, I got to prepare a little bit, have my notes, and that's a good skill I'm starting to develop now. Is that when I do my own podcast, or I'm just making content. Content creation is one of the biggest things out there now. It went from straight radio to just different forms of media, but now content creation is what really flows today's society. So I try to be prepared because the more prepared you are, you don't want to over prepare, but the more prepared you are, the better your flow can
That's
sound.
one of our questions today is, what is something that someone born after 2000 is not gonna know? And, the answers are very funny. They're, like, serious to funny. But I said the company cake. You guys do not understand what it was like to have this frozen cake in your freezer when you're a kid, and you want it, and you're like, "No, we have that just in case company comes over." And you're like, "What company? Who's coming here?" And it was the company cake, and you could only bring it out if you randomly had company. And then when the company cake came out, it wasn't for you, it was for the company.
That's when you got to distract the parents, be like, "Hey, look, there's a bird over there." Run
Give me
upstairs
the
with the cake.
coconut. And it wasn't even good. It was like that gross Pepperidge Farm coconut cake. And you're like, why? You just wanted it because it wasn't for you.
Yeah, that is something I wouldn't know.
No,
I
because
think
people
what's
don't come
funny
over
though,
people's houses. We're not savages.
I think what's funny though is even still a little bit when like it wasn't as popular, but like there are always certain snacks. Like I feel like in our generation, our parents would be like, "Oh yeah, that's just if we have people over." Or like the candy jar was the new thing I had
Oh,
with my
yeah.
people
Yeah.
in my parents' family. Like they'll be like, "Oh yeah, when you come over, there's just candy there." I'm like, "All right, cool. I don't have to."
We had the candy jar, but it was old. Like you never wanted that candy. That was Nana's candy. And it was like, you left that there. It was there when she bought the jar. You don't want that candy.
Been there since 1965.
Don't touch it. So yeah,
Oh,
today is National Techies Day, and we are here at Mashpee TV, channel 1072 on HD. Nate at WKKL, and what's going on at the college?
um, nothing too much at the moment. I know we're starting to hit near October, which is Halloween. I believe we're gonna have um a Halloween party per usual, which is always a fun event. I went last year. It's a good event to get people together, celebrate Halloween. The campus likes to get people together. Um, I'm taking a journalism class So that's fun,
Are you
and
seeing a lot more students? I know that there are a ton more.
oh, there is I feel like my classes are a lot fuller now, and
Yeah.
not just one class, but multiple classes. It's not like last year where you go to, like, a full class, and then your next class might be like, "Oh, yeah, it's a ghost town."
Yeah, not anymore. No, we are full. We are at max capacity right now at 4
Yeah.
students.
I enjoy it, though, because it allows you to meet some new people that maybe you weren't gonna see.
That's exactly it, new faces in classes.
But our journalism, or I should say our newspaper, The Main Sheet, started a new website, which was cool, and
Yep.
they're trying to start a podcast, which is right up my alley. They've been trying to assist my help. Um, it's a lot of fun. It's something new. Journalism is a different branch that I'm learning to do.
Well, yeah, and they're
Writing.
all interconnected, so I'm glad that they're putting it together because that's the practical use of what you're gonna be doing in that broadcasting field. What's up, Lauren? Thanks for joining us. I need to spend some time with you. I very much miss you. I didn't get to see you at the last market. We've got 2 more Mashpee Farmers Markets left for the regular season, which is insane to me. What a wonderful, year we've had. And I was sitting back doing some of the stats, especially for the pop program that we had. It was the first time we ever did it. We didn't add any programming this year. We just kind of wanted to see how many kids we would have available. And I got to chat with Julie yesterday from the Mashpee Chamber. She's outgoing. And we'll have Kat Cedrone on the show, who's incoming right now for interim director shortly. But 154 kids that we saw for the pop program, over $1,000 that we gave to local farmers. And we sold 500 fruits and vegetables from it. So it was really an amazing thing to see that we built, and we were like, let's give it a whirl. And it was so successful. So I'm excited for next year.
You gotta love that, Mashpee you and the Mashpee people put something together like this because it shows the community, "Hey, we wanna get fresh food out there, and not just, something you get from the supermarket," but it also allows people to put their names out there as well to show people like, "Hey, we got this farm that's producing fresh foods, corn, fruit," and it allows people to, you know, nutritionize themselves a little bit better.
I like that word, nutritionize. I'm going to
I don't
use
know.
that.
You could use nutrition, like, but I think that's a better word to explain in the pace of everything.
That's
It's important
awesome.
to get the freshest vegetables that you can, and the supermarket can be hard because a lot of prices have skyrocketed, but when
Yeah,
you can
don't even get
support
me
your
started.
but when you can support your local people, it makes an impact not just on your community, but also on their community as well, which is huge in
Yeah,
today's society.
we're definitely doing that here in Mashpee. And Lauren, go enjoy your zip lining adventure in New Hampshire. That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, I could not do that. I mean, if it's like one of those low hanging ones and you're not too far from the ground, yeah, but there's people that will. I see videos where they're like, "Yeah, I'm like 300 feet up and I'm on this thing." I'm like,
No,
"Ooh,
I did that. I
that's a
distinctly remember when I was in basic training and we had to make our own rappelling device out of like some ropes. They're like,
oh."
here you go. Now you got to rappel down there. And I was like, what? I'm like, I'm afraid of heights. They're like, that's nice. I remember the drill sergeant literally putting a boot on my head and just kicking me down a cliff. Like, and there you go.
Holding on for dear life going down. You're like,
I
"I don't
did it.
wanna
It was
fall."
fine. I survived that whole ziplining adventure, but am I gonna actively do this for fun? Absolutely not. No, that is not for me. But I did get over my fear of heights. I just don't love them. It's not my favorite.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, it comes to the heights for me. Like, I go up to a certain point, I'm like, "This isn't too bad." Like, you can get up to a certain distance, look down, you're like,
No,
"Alright."
Lauren goes, nope, we are hitting the high tops, Nate, you crazy thing. What's up, Kat? Thanks for joining us on
Uh,
the show. It's
but
Nate. And we're just chatting all things about what's going on at college, what's happening here in Mashpee. And we appreciate you all joining us today. It's very fall like out there this morning. If you've not been outside yet, I kind of liked
oh,
it. I
yeah.
was cold last night. I was like, oh, we have to close the windows. Not bad.
It's crisp out now. That's
I
what it
like that
really
crisp.
is. Yeah. You really gotta say that, like, intensely, crisp.
That's right, or else it
You
doesn't
know?
count.
Yeah, exactly. No,
I
I
didn't have
do.
a chance. I was away this weekend, and I didn't have a chance to watch Saturday Night Live. Do you watch that show at all?
I haven't watched it in a good amount of time, maybe,
That's just not
uh
your age bracket of humor.
I just think I used to watch it, but, I feel like it hasn't been as pro produced well in certain nights where I'm like, "Eh." Like,
I still love it.
there's still funny skits here and there that I see once in a while where I'm like, "You know what? That's
Well,
good."
that's it. Name a 50-year-old show that you will continually watch regardless of who's the cast on it. I will
SNL.
watch SNL. I don't know why, but they mocked Spirit Halloween,
Uh,
and Spirit Halloween did not love that.
isn't
So,
there one in the mall now?
I don't know wherever they pop up. Remember, they just pop up at the store that does the worst. They're like, "Okay, that's gonna be a Spirit Halloween."
When I used to live in North Smithfield, we used to have, a Dollar Tree, a Job Lot next to each other, some other businesses, but at the end, before this candy shop we had, like, which was local, every year, it'd be empty for about 360, 40 days a year,
Exactly.
it felt like, and then Spirit Halloween in October would pop
Yep.
up
We
and
will
be like,
swoop
"We're
in,
here."
make a little bit of money, and swoop out. That's what they do. But they watched the SNL, they did not love it, but then they made up their little costumes, and it said, irrelevant 50-year-old TV show, dated reference, unknown cast, and shrinking ratings. So, apparently they got their say in that, their jabs, if you will.
Sometimes you gotta not make fun, but poke jokes at businesses is because sometimes there's funny stuff in the world that makes you laugh from a business that sometimes you just gotta make a joke of. But they're not doing that to be like, "Oh, this business sucks." They're just kinda do it to be like, "You know what? That makes us laugh, and people can relate to a similar
Well,
experience."
that's
That's
it. You
all
gotta
they're
laugh
doing.
at yourself, right? And then turn it around and make fun of other people. That's what you do, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're in media, like, you gotta learn to laugh when people joke with you, but,
Thick
like,
skin, Nate.
also yeah, that's one of the biggest things I've learned very early on is that if you're gonna work in the media, you kinda gotta when there's a joke, not at your expense, but you might not see it.
Roll off your back
Yeah,
like a duck.
but you gotta laugh because sometimes it might just be funny where you're like, "Ooh, that hits a little bit," but you're like, "You know what? That was funny. Thanks for that
Yep.
laugh."
If you can't make fun of yourself, who can you make fun of?
I'm sure me and you, as media people, we'll be editing something and then we just mess up and we're like, we just laugh at ourselves or we'll be
That's
like,
it.
"No, that's
We're
not what I
here
was trying to do."
today. So
That's
the
how
Cape has been getting a lot of accolades. We normally get accolades, but this time of year, the best lists come out. And as people are ending their year and planning their next year for vacations and what's going on in their life, I saw that Chatham Bar is once again voted best resort for 2024.
Ooh.
And people are like, how do they keep winning? Well, what's better?
Yeah, that's a good question.
They do a really good job of putting out little newsletters and keeping it fresh and cute and always something fun going on. So, I mean, plus it's just a beautiful place to be. Also, Coast Guard Beach voted not only the best beach in New England, but one of the top beaches in the world again. So the Outer Cape getting a lot of national love right now, which is all right. We'll allow it. Mashpee had our moment in the sun.
I mean, there is another Cape Cod award. There's something like called Person of the Year from
Oh, shut
someone
up.
on Cape Cod.
We've already talked about how great I am, Nate. No, I'm kidding. No,
Uh,
that was wild. I was not even, I'm still not processing that. It took me 2 weeks to say thank you. I'm just not, it's just very, very weird. And we have some other fun thing coming to the Outer Cape, the town crier competition.
what?
Do you know the town crier in Provincetown? It's a guy that dresses up like a pilgrim and shakes the bells and runs around and makes announcements for things. Have you ever seen him?
I don't think I have.
But I always knew that was a thing, but I thought it was just a Provincetown thing. I didn't realize that there are multiple town criers throughout the world.
That is interesting. I didn't know
And
that was a thing.
there's a national competition and it's coming to Provincetown.
Get your tickets. Buy tickets right now.
I don't know if it's a ticketable thing. I need to know more about it. I think RTB is going to bop into the show tomorrow. And if you're watching RTB, that is one of the things we need to discuss. Who's coming? Is it just like the UK? Is it Canada? Like, where are these town criers? Do they dress up like pilgrims? I have a lot of questions.
I think a lot of the national media has questions. They're not going to say that, but they're going to be like, Cape Cod fall
Did
setting.
you know there were multiple town cryos out there, anyone? I had no idea. I had no idea.
Hey, they say the more you know, right?
I thought it was
More
just
you
something
know.
quirky we did.
I didn't know that was a thing when you mentioned. That's why I was like, "What? That's a thing?"
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't know
you're
that
gonna
was a
have to Google it afterwards and just enjoy the town crier that we have in Provincetown. Like, there was a big turnover a few years ago, and then the new one was brought up and announced, and everyone's like, "Can he compete?" It was kinda like replacing that guy that sings at the Bruins.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't know the name off the top of my
Yeah,
head,
they're
but I
weird jobs, but they're important to whatever realm it is. You brought up an interesting fact about sports that I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" Preseason for what is happening?
NBA, and as crazy as it sounds, we're in October now. The regular season starts at October 22nd. The preseason starts tomorrow. That just shows you how quick that a season can end in June, go through
Right?
July, August, September, a little bit of October, a couple days in October, give or take. And then the NBA's back. That's probably one of the sports that if you're in the playoffs, your rest and recovery has to
Short.
speed up. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to do more than maybe someone that got eliminated in February.
Yeah, right. Well, the Red Sox don't have to worry about anything till April. They've got plenty of time to rest and recover.
Don't let Hank hear that.
And I just saw that our Patriots are favored this weekend.
That's a funny situation because if you look at the Miami Dolphins right now, they lost Tua, which if I were to make my opinion on Tua, when you have that short span of concussions, it is concerning. Now it is up to him what he wants to do, but if it were up to me, I would say probably focus on your family because family is important. And if you get another concussion, especially in his span of time, he
Yeah.
might not be in the best health later
Well,
in
and the news that is coming out now with like Brett Favre and like everything that's happening, would you risk another head injury for that fame, for that rush, for that time or money? Is it worth it? I think we're finally realizing this is not worth it, but it's still taken us a lot of time to train our brain that going for that accolade, that moment is really not worth not living
Yeah, I mean,
quality life.
for the Patriots this week, they did get a great opportunity. They're gonna probably I don't know about the quarterback situation. Last week against Tennessee, they played Tyler Huntley, who used to play for the Ravens. I don't know if
You're
they're gonna
speaking
start
Greek
him
to me
again.
completely because I haven't had time to sit down and watch one full Patriots game because of
Last
the
week was tough
markets.
for them.
But also they've not I'm checking, I'm like, "Oh, they're bad. No, they're good. They're bad. No, I shouldn't be watching it. I'm ruining it."
I
I
would
have that
say
mental
Drake
juju like I'm
May
doing it.
Drake May is probably gonna start, second half of the season. You gotta know what you have in your future a little bit, especially if you're not in playoff contention.
Yeah.
But they're gonna be competitive. Gerard Mayo is an excellent leader. I listened to his press conference the other day. He has this demeanor as a coach that I don't feel like there's a lot out there. He knows how to, answer questions honestly. He doesn't dance around questions. I feel like I'm sure you've seen this in any media. There's people out there in the media that you can ask them a question and they'll give you subliminals or kind of dance around the question and be like, well, hey,
We all watch the debate. We know what it's
yeah.
like not to answer a question. Um, we get it.
So,
Gerard
yeah,
Mayo does, in fact, address people dead on. So, yeah, I get what you're saying there.
I
Wheels
played
up
for
in
him.
Chicago. What's going on, Robert? Thanks for joining us on the show. Look at us. Right? Great to see you two back on the air. Yeah, Nate's over at WKKL right now. I'm from the Mashpee TV studios. Thank you very much to Justin and Chris Ball for assembling this set. I was like, I got uplighting today. I have a rotating banner of Lemonadio. This is like You're
And
getting
one
too
pushed
fancy
chair
over
aside.
here.
She has one chair that she pushed aside as well.
Well, I don't have Hank today. Hank is with Mari, and they're doing some things. And so I was like, oh, I just pushed the chair out of the way instead of having like the chair. And thank you for watching me furiously realign the set.
No, that was a funny start to the
So
morning.
I'm all by myself. Chris locked me in here.
Oh
Yes,
man.
I am moving up from between two ferns, so that's pretty exciting. Hello, Miss Emily. Emily just sent out a book-long newsletter yesterday to all of our vendors from the Mashpee Farmers Market, the Cape Cod Christmas Market, and all the activities that we've got flowing in the Mashpee Commons. There is really an excitement happening here. This time of year, I feel like everybody sort of gets a little pumped. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. It's kind of like the best ending of the year. There's a lot going on.
I don't know if you know this about the holidays, but it really goes Halloween, Christmas, and somewhere in the middle, I guess Thanksgiving happens,
What?
something like that.
That's how you're stacking the things you like the best?
No, just ask Walmart. They'll tell you how they like to advertise the
They've
products.
already got their Valentine's Day stuff up. Ignore those people.
That, that is probably one of the funniest businesses and the funniest thing they do. October will end, and you're thinking, "Oh, I can prepare, get a couple like Thanksgiving, decorations." Now that Christmas tree is October
They're already out.
31st.
It's
Yeah,
already there.
Valentine's Day, I guess, starts in January
You're
now.
right. They start that the day after Christmas. Roll it in.
And then
Get
after
the
that,
conversation, hearts.
and I guess you don't even give Valentine's Day a chance because then St. Patrick's Day starts. Holidays, they don't even have a date anymore, according to Walmart. It's it's
No, I
tis the
can't. This
season.
is why we shop local, Nate. This is why we support the
Exactly.
local. One season at a time. I can only handle some of this stuff. We've
Before
got
you get overloaded.
homecoming weekend this weekend. And I don't know. I remember the smell of the homecoming game. There was something about that portion of my core memories that were just really good. And I was asking my son, he's got the big football game. Mashpee plays on Friday at 4 p.m. because they still can't play past dusk because of the bugs, the Eastern equine encephalitis. And I think this cold weather is going to break that situation. But 4 p.m. And then I was like, are you going to go to the dance? And he's like, Mom, I'm not going to that dance.
He sounds like me a little bit when I was younger but I still went because my friends went, but there were probably a couple times where I was like, do I really want to go? But I went because I wanted to have a good time with my friends. But what I remember about homecoming is I used to be in band, so I used to play during the homecoming game,
Yeah.
which was a lot of fun. Um, it when you play at a homecoming game, it's almost like a pre-college football
It's
atmosphere.
electric. Everybody that
Yeah,
ever graduated from there goes there or supports it. Absolutely.
Mashpee looked nice though. The game I went to, they got a pick early in the game. They were up 20-7 at half. I don't know what was the final score was, but they looked pretty dominant, and that's good to see for
Yeah,
Mashpee,
right.
especially against Rockland. I'm not too sure about their program, but they looked to come out fighting. When I got there, the funny thing was Rockland, they had some kids like screaming like ah, like super loud. I was like, and I was like, hopefully Mashpee shows up because I think these
The
kids are
bark
ready.
was bigger than the bite, apparently.
Yeah, and that's when I realized when I was watching the game, I'm like, they all bark, no bite, because Mashpee, they got a pick early in the game, but their touchdowns they scored, they went right down the field, and they know how to spread the field too, which shout out to the coach there.
Oh, I know. Matt Treveri is amazing. He runs a really amazing program here in Mashpee, and there's some rumors that we might be combining with another town next year. So just rumors, but
Really?
also there's some validity to the rumors. We made some calls this morning, so just for lack of players, a third of our team is seniors this year. So
I did realize that on the sheet there were a lot of seniors. I was like,
poor
"Geez,
Nate. Oh,
that's a way to get signed off. You're not used to the normal. There's a new person there for a game. You're like, man, this guy up there messing it up,
yeah,
man.
right. It's got to happen sometimes. What's up, Kayla? Thanks for joining us on the show. We are live at Mashpee TV. Nate coming into the studio from WKKL at 4 Cs 90.7 WKKL. If you ever want to listen to the programming as you're bopping around the Mid Cape, you can get a listen to some really good programming. I think that your fellow students have really stepped up their game. Some of the production quality is really, really good. The content is stepping up too.
I know for me, Professor Z wanted me to move from earlier in the week and put me in a Friday slot from 12 to 2 p.m. on Friday because
Yep.
she wants to hear me be heard. Because if you've listened to the station on a Friday, that's our weekend programming, I would say, is our mainstream. A lot of people listen. We got a lot of shows on
Yep.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that people are interested in. I mean, someone like Ricky B, he has a 90s show that a lot of people like 90s music. So if you're tuning in at night on Friday, you got something like that. And
Well, and a lot of former graduates come back and do shows just because it's fun and it's something that they get to do. It's their hobby. So we've
exactly.
got Elastic Glam, which a lot of the programming we're re-airing on lemonadio.com if you're listening there right now. And we thank you for that. And I know it's so many ways for you to get your content, but we definitely support our locals and we're making some good content here. So shout out to you over at the college doing your best. And take that Friday slot, Nate. Step it up. Let's go.
I have done some fun production on Fridays. So what I usually do is just instead of going 90.7 usually like I used to, I'll find clips from a game, let the song end a tiny bit, but when there's still a tiny bit left of the song, that's when I'll start the clip and then I'll end up talking. But it's all about for me where I focus right now is elevating the production of a show rather than just, hey, I can go in front of this mic and just say, well, here's what's going on in sports. I feel like
Well, you're
where
learning that. You've
yeah,
gotten better over time doing that.
but I haven't gotten a chance to listen, but from the voices I hear when I walk into a classroom after, we do have a lot of students who are starting to develop and find their rhythm, which
It's
is good to see.
exciting.
It is exciting, especially with more students. You can find more talent and find more voices and variety and more
Yeah, and that's
variety of
happening.
shows,
Yep,
which
and that's
is
happening right
important.
here.
It in Cape Cod, what is the best thing I've realized, we are so about community down here. It doesn't matter if you're in Mashpee, you're in Dennis, further down the Cape, Upper Cape. It's all about trying to support your local businesses and small businesses.
Well, we're
Um,
definitely doing that for sure. Shout out Mari. Mari's on her way to the dentist right now. That's where you had to go, Hank. I remember you said it was a doctor's appointment, but I remember it wasn't a scary doctor's appointment. So, well, I mean, it depends on how you feel about the dentist. So,
I usually just sit there calm and the one thing I that makes me laugh is they'll be like, "How you doing?" And they're like all the way in your mouth. I'm like, "This isn't gonna work."
yeah, why, right? They know better. I think that they just ask you that on purpose so they feel better, like they're being nice to you, but they're actually not caring at all what you're saying. Or they can just identify it with their hands in your mouth and you have no idea. So,
They speak dentistry. How you doing
right?
today? Oh, sounds like you're doing good. What's going on new? Blah.
Fluent in
Nice,
another
nice.
language
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. Dentistry. That's what they like to call it.
There you go. If you want to win those tickets, by the way, to Valley Grill, it's to go see Frank Santos Jr. It's going to be happening next Wednesday. All you have to do is just comment in the chat on any of the chats. Just comment X. I'll pick somebody afterwards and I will send you those tickets. If you want to grab those, Eventbrite, just put in Valley Grill. I think this is one of their first ticketed events. So look for more fun stuff happening here in the town of Mashpee. We're really stepping up our game a little bit. We've got some plans to do some cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's perfect season to get some stuff, and I think pretty soon that Rotary will be lit up. That's what you guys are talking about,
We're
and
very excited about our
yeah,
Rotary.
that is the
It's the
nicest
little
Rotary
things,
on
Nate.
Cape Cod.
Oh, Seth just said, I just told Ricky B that there was some great new production on KKL. Glam on, brother. That's
Oh,
perfect.
yeah.
Yep.
That is perfect right there.
I know it. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up over there, and I will be checking in with you guys next week from the studio. And we'll be live on 90.7 WKKL next
Which
Thursday.
is great. It's gonna see some new voices, some new faces, hopefully, and allow you to show what we got going on here. I'm sure Josh and I are gonna be on there like we were last semester, so if you tuned in last semester, I'm sure we're gonna be there. But I'm
Yeah,
excited to showcase some new voices, some new talent, and Steph always brings the best out of everyone in
I
there.
appreciate that.
She does elevate
Tell me
because
more. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
because the best thing that she does, instead of just saying good job to you and in your face, a lot of people in life will just be like, good job. Like, but she'll criticize you a little bit in the best way to be like, hey, just all that's the only thing you need to fix. Or she can show you, hey, instead of doing this, try this next time. And she will guide you the best way possible. She has the experience, so she knows what she's talking about, you
Are you
know?
calling me old, Nate? When I hear the word experience, I hear old, and you've been doing this a long time, lady.
No, you know what I mean.
No, I definitely enjoy it, and just making little tweaks to that sometimes really does change it up. So thank you for listening to that.
Well, it's
All
made
right.
me better.
Yeah, right. So what are you watching right now?
I
Any
haven't
shows? Anything new?
I started on Netflix. I haven't gotten a chance to it, but, I know starting next week, I'm probably gonna start watching Starting Five, which is that NBA show where they follow 5 players.
You really don't deviate from the sports, do you? That's like that's your thing.
Well, there's just so much newer content coming out now that Netflix seems to start taking over. A lot of people are partnering with Netflix to get more behind the scenes.
Yep.
That allows me to connect there. But I am looking for a good show to watch. I I do try to deviate from there a little bit, but it's tough because just start a show unless somebody recommends me something good.
Oh, I'll
It
watch anything, literally anything, and then get sucked in or just change it. And I'm like, why am I watching this? It's not even in this language.
Well, what's tough is for me, I wanna watch something that I like a lot of sciencey things, like sci-fi
Oh, okay.
and
That's
stuff.
you're learning. That's good.
Yeah, so, I like comedy shows too, like, not just, like, specials from people, but when there's some comedy shows that are funny. I
Yeah.
remember at one point I walked, Parks and Recreation. I didn't get too far into that, but it was, like, almost like The Office, except a little
Yeah,
off-brand.
that's a good old fallen standard. There was a new study that revealed the most sought after free trial of any streaming platform. What would you guess it would be?
I was gonna say Hulu.
Yeah, it is. It is only because they've got live TV, I think that people are like, "Okay, let me free trial this," because their live TV is expensive. You
It
wanna
is.
watch free TV, you can do so on Mashpee TV, channel
Ooh.
1072 in
She hit the
HD.
plug.
Absolutely. Well,
Wow, that
I
was
know where my
perfect
bread is
placement.
buttered. I know what's behind me. I know
Hey,
they
get
gave
her
me
a raise.
uplighting.
Get her a raise at Mashpee TV. That was a perfect plug right there.
No, I was actually really commending Justin and Chris and the staff here. They did this like highlight of all the high school students, and they made it like real intros, like it's like a sports channel, like you're watching ESPN, and it was just really cute. They did a really good job, and there was like 150 students. So I
Ooh,
know there was 40 to 60 hours worth of work on the editing floor because we know what that looks like on the
yeah,
other
it
side of things.
is. Well, when you watch, like, a sports game, you're like, "These graphics are so cool," but the graphics team probably takes about,
Well,
a
think
couple
about
days.
it, Nate. When I taught class 2 weeks ago, when I gave you that exercise, that was a 3 minute to a 1 minute exercise that took a 3 hour class. Like, think about doing that for what they did on the regular. It's a lot
Yeah,
of
that's
production
impressive.
time.
That's why I give them their kudos when, they do that type of stuff because on ESPN, you see a lot of cool graphics, but now that I'm in the media, especially for me, sometimes I see something neat, I'm like, "I probably took a while."
Yeah, right. Like, you actually understand the value of how much time somebody put into making that happen.
It's
You're
the
like, "That's a lot of
appreciation.
work."
Yeah, it's the appreciation for media more and more.
Right?
The more and more you spend time in it, whether it's radio, in front of a camera, in front of this, learning this skill, you almost start to appreciate and be like, "Ooh, that took a minute for them." That there's
Yeah.
no way they just showed up and was like, put the headset on to call a game and be like, "Well, here's what's going on." Like,
Well, yeah, we've all watched the development of Tom Brady. It's gotten a little bit better, but
I'm not too high on him yet, but I'm willing to give him the chance, you
well,
know?
yeah, Pats aren't your number one. You're not just gonna go to him. What's up, Ricky? Thanks for joining us. Did you hear we were talking good things about you and had to join on the show? New study revealed the most sought after free trial was Hulu, then it was Peacock, Netflix, HBO Max, and Stars, rounding out the top five. And then football TV or Fubo TV rather, which is where you can get all the old movies. And I'm sure that's rolling in because it's Halloween scary time and everybody wants to watch the old slasher films.
Yeah. The funny thing about those movies that just make me laugh. I'm gonna go in the woods while this person's following me.
Every
I'm gonna
time.
hide behind this tree and hope that they
Every
don't
time.
find me.
Ricky, oh no.
Oh man, I'm never huge. Like some slasher films are just funny. Like you're kind of like, well, here's the plot, but after a while, you're kind of like, the person follows them. This person just kills
Don't
people.
let Dan Chase jump on this stream. He will absolutely eat you alive. He does a horror podcast. We very much enjoy it. This week was National Podcast Week. So if you've got a great one that we need to be finding out about, drop it in the chat too. I'm curious because I'm always looking for something to listen to educationally. Also, I've been sucked into all of these financial podcasts. I have no money in anything special other than like my stash. I get like 2 cents, like, oh, your dividends are here. And I open it up and it's literally 2 cents. I'm like, wow, I am killing it today.
2 cents to 50 cents.
Well, but I'm just so curious about all of the moving markets. I mean, we've got a war going on right now. We've got all of these things, these moving parts. We've got a backup of cargo that has stopped our food chain supply. We're fine. I'm not panicking anybody to any of these things, but it's all stuff like we need to be watching, and it's all has to do with the market. So I'm like fascinated by these shows that I get sucked into them, even though I know nothing about this realm of things. But I'm like, if anybody ever gave me money, I would know what to do with it.
I think it's important speaking about that, the chain with all the ships and them stopping. Um, it's interesting because they wanted to, ask for a new contract, which is perfectly okay. If you do that job, that's not obviously people would just say you're stacking shelves, but no, you're stacking those shelves to put on ships so that the American people can buy stuff. And this is why it's so important because all they're asking is for a raise in a couple things. And I feel like it's if you want, the US to run the way it is, you should take care of those workers. And I think that's what gets lost in translation. Is all they're asking is like, hey, we've done our job. Can we get a little bit more and be rewarded for all this hard work that we do day in and day out? It's not like they're just sitting at a desk and they're like, well, this ship's going this. Like people are, you know, one group here is doing this, one group here is doing this. There's
Well,
so
I just
many.
hope that this strike doesn't last very long for absolutely everybody involved because it's not great.
Yeah, I mean, the hopefully it ends before the election, but if it does go towards there, I wonder if that will trip things up a little bit
You know,
because
I was at trivia last night and we were at Sandwich Taverna. And by the way, you would kill at this week's trivia state nicknames. And I feel like if you watch college football at all, you would crush at this round of trivia. If ever there were a week, it is this week for you.
Can I get a
Cliff is
whole
going to
week
be
of
over.
sports trivia and
Yeah, right. Cliff is going
actually
to be
win a
over at
prize?
10 Pin Eatery, and Bria is going to be over at Cape Cod Beer. So if you're looking for some fun, I think she's just doing music bingo over at Cape Cod Beer today. Cliff has got some trivia going on at 10 Pin Eatery today. If you're ever looking for something fun to do, eventsoncape.com is our Facebook group. And we are almost at 9,000 people. And that's just adding whatever it is that's going on in your space. So that's been really fun to see that grow and thrive. If you're looking for food, Mari and Hank have Cape Cod Dining at Home and Anywhere Else, which is a fun foodie thing. And we've got Mari working on a little bit of fun stuff for Restaurant Month, which we've got coming up here in Mashpee. Also, if you're looking for a festival, we got Oktoberfest happening in the Mashpee Commons this weekend. I
That's
walked the
exciting.
field. There's going to be an Pah band. I am talking like Steins, the whole lot of it. And that's Saturday, weather dependent. It looks like they'll be fine.
I have gone to a Breeze music bingo before. She does a really good job.
Yep.
I've gone a time or two, but she's organized, very outgoing, good person on your staff.
Yeah,
I gotta
right.
give you credit there. So, if you are looking for some fun music bingo, I'd head to Cape Cod Beer because she really does a good job and she'll make the environment fun. And you'll go
That's
from
it.
being like,
Gloss
this
and
is just
sheen.
music bingo to this is just a fun atmosphere, and that's what Lemonadio does, is create a fun atmosphere.
Thanks, Nate. I don't even pay him.
No, she does. I'm
Definitely
just saying
don't.
this from, like, good experience. Is what Lemonadio has going on is something special. They aren't just starting a radio brand to just do it. Like, Steph is helping the community out because she loves to do that. She gets people on staff that are
Nate, I'm gonna
willing
keep
to
you
do the same
around.
mission, you know?
Thank you so much for joining us today. Nate, any parting words or things that you want us to know about what's going on, programming over at KKL or stuff you're working on?
Well, if you wanna hear some sports action on Friday, on 90.7 WKKL, I'll be on from 12 to 2 PM, so tune in then. I'm gonna try to talk a little bit about, the NFL Week 5, but I'm gonna try to skim through some college football and see if there's a game or 2 that's worth talking about. I mean, I scrolled real quick this morning before we started the show, but I also later today will be recording a podcast with my friend Davis, who is in Alabama. He's a big Tide fan, and so am I. So that's something we connected on when we first created a
Southern
friendship.
football chat is aggressive. So
But I have this podcast I've been starting up called, I moved from Skinner Sports Network, and I went to I called it a football podcast called First Downs and Touchdowns. And
cute.
that's where I wanna talk, is football. So I went from a broad view to more of a specific view to really help me zone in and tune into where I wanna go in the future, which is important. I don't wanna just I feel like for viewership, there's a lot of podcasts, whether it's financial, fitness. If it is kinda broad, you're not really gonna open
Do
it
you
up
know
to
what the number
people.
one podcast genre is?
I don't know off the top of my head.
It's true crime.
Really?
Everybody thinks they can solve a mystery. Everybody thinks they're a sleuther. They're not. Leave it to the police. Like, although TikTok's been solving some crimes, so
El
roll tide, Ellen says. Great game
I'm
last
right there
week.
with you. Roll Tide, man. Ryan Williams, the greatest 17-year-old I've ever seen. He
That's
should be a high school senior right now,
it's
but
pretty
he
incredible.
reclassified, and he's in college football at 17, making highlight plays. He had 3 in one game against Georgia. One, he made someone get their ankles snapped, and then another one, he not literally, but, like, when you
All the
break
joys of
ankles.
football.
But the other play he made was a straight focus where it tipped a couple times, but the immaculate focus he had there was
Yeah,
crazy.
it's pretty incredible to see amazing highlights coming out of our youth. And thank you for chatting about it. WKKL noon to 2 Friday. You can find Nate yapping with his buddy in Alabama talking football. So if that's your thing, hop on that. Also, lots of other programming there. We've got lots of great stuff happening at Lemonadio between jazz and blues on the weekend. Definitely take us with you wherever you go. You can download the app or just say to Alexa, play Lemonadio Radio. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Mashpee TV on YouTube and find them on HD 1072. If you don't have HD, just call Comcast, 1-800-COMCAST. They'll fix that up for you, or you can swap out your box when you stop by the store. Nate, thank you so much for your time today and heading down to the studio to meet me. I appreciate you.
Oh, no problem at all. I always love coming on. I know this morning I had to get a couple things set up and done, but it's always fun to have an opportunity to hop on the show once in a while. So it's good practice reps, and I always appreciate the opportunity. And
Thanks, buddy. Tomorrow on the show, Marty Brummel will check in with us. I guess there's a Calmus Beach car show that we're going to be at. And I know, right? I'm DJing a car show. I'm like, you, me? Okay, sure, I'll do that. There's nothing she won't do. And
you know
well,
what? Lemonadio's everywhere. It's just like that PayPal commercial that I keep seeing. I want to pay with you everywhere,
here I am. No money, but I'm here.
except except with Lemonadio. I wanna play it everywhere.
That's it. That's it. RTB will also be checking with us, and we'll have an update on what's happening in Provincetown. And I got to ask him about that town crier competition. I'm sucked in.
That's breaking news coming out of
You're right. Well,
Lemonadio
he
on
always
a
calls me a
Thursday morning.
10-year-old boy with internet access. So leave me leave me alone. Everybody
Um,
have a great day, whatever it is that you do. Go enjoy the nice fall weather that we've got here. And we'll talk soon. Nate, I'll see you in the studio at KKL.
Oh yeah, you will.
Yep.
Next week. Bang.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.